Hello. Today we're going to be talking about visualizing data in YouTube Wells, one of the most important features, one of the features that everybody is going to be interested in doing. And we're going to explain some of the modifications we've been doing in the past year or so that make the system as user-friendly as we could imagine. So suppose you're in YouTube Wells, you open a well, that's where you're going to start. You have some tracks, but you don't have any data. You don't know what you're really looking at. The first thing you're going to notice is you have the well name here. Right now, we only have one name. You have the view, meaning the scale. This is, most of you guys are going to be familiar with the scale. And you have a template, which is a YouTube well specific concept. You will always have a default template in every well. And by default, YouTube wells will have these three templates. You can imagine what the triple combo is going to look like. You have gamma ray, resistivity, neutron porosity. The template, as you can see, if it's not obvious already, is just the number of tracks plus the number of plots plus the limits, the colors, everything that you see in the track display. That's going to be considered a template. Now there's no data, so let's make it a little more interesting. When you see the names with those two dashes, that means that there was no data found. So let me just add some sample data, just this sample last file. Everybody gets it if you get YouTube wells. You get certain data, you import it, and now boom, we have all the interesting data in the template. We have the gamma ray, we have the resistivity, we have the neutron porosity, and we have the density. Notice that the names changed, and the names changed to the specific curves that were found. Okay, so this is like a quick intro. Now let's look into what the templates really are. So we have these templates by default, but there's more to them. There's a manager here that is going to tell us, is going to give us a little more information. You always have the templates here. You will always have a default template in every well. These are the templates for well 1. You can see that here. And these other 3. Now, the first column is going to tell us whether that template is currently saved in user preferences. Now, this is pointing to one of the concepts that are sometimes difficult to grasp. We have templates in 2 places, in the wells, within the wells, which is what you see, what the options that you have in this well. And we always have some templates saved in the user preferences, which is a file within your computer, within your YouTube wells installation. If this checkbox is checked, that means that is not only in the well, but also in the user preferences. You can also update whatever you have. You can also revert to the version saved in current preferences, or you can delete. So you can add easily just clicking here in the plus, and you're going to get a template 1 or whatever. You can duplicate, for example, let's say that we want to duplicate the triple combo. You can just do that. Now you have a triple combo copy. And now here, you're going to have all those options. So we could, for example, go to the triple combo copy instead of the one we had. And we could rename it triple combo. Let's say I'm just going to add a shade. So I'm going to call it that. Now I have a triple combo shade. And here, the focus of this video is not really to see how you modify the tracks, but this is the tracks themselves, but this is how you would do it. You can just go there, and I'm just going to add a shade plot. These are all the plots that you can have within the track, the log, the shade, numerical, and many more. Let's say that now I've done that. So now we have the triple combo with a shade and the triple combo without a shade. And very easily you can go back and forth between those two. I could save this in user preferences. There's 2 ways I can do that. You can do it either here, just by clicking here, or update, or you can also click here where in this first arrow that says save or update current template into user preferences. And you can always revert to that. So let's say that in this case, I have this template, and then I add another track just to make it different. Then I say, well, actually, I want to go back to what I had to in the user preference. I just revert here, and that track is going to be gone. Of course, it can be a lot more interesting than just adding or removing a track, but the point is that you can go back to the template that you had. We can also add this, remember the track editor, just controlling the tracks. I'm going to add, let's say, the resistivity in, I'm going to save it in, I want to see the radial distance in inches, and I'm going to see up to 330, or let's make it just 30 to make it a little more clear. And the limits, let's say I want to make it from 0 to 100 or something like that, or 1 to 100, and keep it in logarithmic scale. And that's okay. Well, let's say that on top of that, I want to keep not let's say a jet color map, just to have a different color map. And then I want to say, okay, this is going to be my new. Every time I go back to that template, this is what is going to be. This is where I want to be. This is the triple combo plus shade. All right. That's how they would work. You can always add a new template. For example, if we're in the triple combo plus shade, and I want to say, well, this one, I want to save the current template as a new template for this well. So I can click here and give it a new name. I'm going to say CC shade cross section CR. Yes, that's it. And now we have triple combo shade cross section. And we have triple combo shade. I already made it like that. But let's say that triple combo shade, we could remove this and say, actually, this is what I want for triple combo shade. And I want this for the one that includes the cross section. So I just select that, and it's a bit more complete. I think I hope that makes clear what templates are and how they work. Now, something that has been missing here is the mnemonics part. To make this a little more interesting, also, I can add another well. And that well is going to have totally different data. And let's say that I'm going to use the triple combo shade, which is what we had. But actually, I'm interested in not just the triple combo shade, but the one that we made a little more complete. So I can save it in the user preferences, and now it's going to be here. Make it a lot easier. And now it's not just what we had, but it actually includes the resistivity here. Now let's add some data. Let's in this case, instead of what we had, let's just open another sample data, some sample log set. We import it, and of course the data looks very different from what we have here, but it's interesting, and that's what we care about. And we can zoom in to make it. This looks like an interesting part, could be. All right. So of course it looks different, but the generalized part is the same. And that brings us to what are we generalizing? And what we are using as the general definition for the curve, notice that in this case, it's Cn for neutron porosity, and in this case, it's TNPH. How's that working? That is because of the mnemonics. And the mnemonics are, the way they work is, if you look into any of these cases, you have the Earth model, you have the LAS, and you may have simulated type of curves. Those are the ones you see in UTEP wells. But if you see mnemonic, you can always click there, and it's going to show you the definition of that mnemonic, which is this window. Let me close this just to make it a little a little cleaner. What this is telling us is that the definition for the N4 mnemonic includes all these curves. So these are all the curves for the neutron porosity. You have here the description, neutron porosity, all the curves that we have associated to it. They have a rank, meaning that if it finds this one, it's going to try to find the ones with higher rank or with lower rank first. The lower the number, the more relevant they're going to be, or the more they're going to try to find them. You can modify these. For example, if we say, well, CN is the one I want to see the most, you can just say that's number one and it goes up here, has the highest rank. It has a description which you can change. A unit class in this case is just fraction. It could be any of these. And what is the display that you want to use? You can just use display unit system, or you can use Frost units or volume by volume or percent. You have the limits. You choose whichever limits you want, and the scale. For example, for gamma ray, you're going to have the unit class is going to be radioactivity. The units are API, and this is what we're using here for this gamma ray curve. You have the scale, you have the limits. You can modify that here. And anytime you add a new plot, a new mnemonic, it's going to use this to try to find it. Now, something that makes it different with UTEP Wells is that you have the field logs, which is what you would use everywhere else. But truly, what makes it different is we have simulated logs, which is something very specific to UTEP Wells, and we have the Earth model property, which is also very specific to UTEP Wells. And it's just an associated property to this curve. Not all curves are going to have an associated property, but the ones that you see towards the top, they all will. So you have gamma ray, for example, we have RD, the resistivity for deep. It's going to be red, and it's going to have it can have a different style and a different color if it's field or simulated or Earth model. In general, simulated are going to be dashed lines. You can modify that if you want to. In this case, the scale is logarithmic and the units that you're going to have. So that's why here AF90, which is the deep resistivity that it found, is red, is going from 0.2 to 200, and it's in logarithmic scale. And those are the two main concepts that we have in UTEP Wells. Oh, also, you can add your own mnemonics. You can just click here, and it's going to add another mnemonic. It's going to be here in the bottom. You can modify it to whatever you want. You can give it a different description. You can give it a different unit class and so on. You can add curves, whatever mnemonics might be, and use it just the same way we use the other ones that we looked into with the specific colors, the specific limits, the specific units, and so on. And that's it. These are the two concepts that we have in UTEP Wells, the templates and the mnemonics, that hopefully will make your life easier when you're exploring data.